How you doing today, guys? It's going to be a review of the G&G combat machine GR16. I picked up this gun used for about $100, roughly, give or take. I got a couple of accessories with it. It originally had an ACOG on it. When you purchase the gun, it comes with a metal carrying handle. I don't want to bore a bunch of people with typical things that everybody knows, blah blah blah, normal stuff. 6-position adjustable stock, everybody knows that. It's got a little wobble to it, just like any other low-end gun. Performance of it's great. It's got a pretty fast motor in it. I was shooting yesterday. I took it out for a game yesterday, and it was shooting pretty quick. It's nice and fast on my LiPo. I was firing it through the PMag. The PMag was keeping up fine. The included G&G high cap is a real high quality high cap right here, and it feeds just fine. I had another low capacity magazine that was having trouble keeping up on full auto, so it is a fast gun. How many balls per second, I'm not exactly sure. I chronographed the gun yesterday, and it was sitting relatively consistent with 0.25 gram BBs from Elite Force. I was shooting anywhere from 324 to 326 on the average. I had one spike of 331, and the lowest was 321. So it was relatively consistent. It's pretty accurate for what it is. I mean, it's not the be-all end-all guns, but for an entry-level gun, it is great. The hop-up unit is definitely keeping the BBs flying pretty straight on this one. The blowback is very nice. One thing about the blowback that you might want to take note is it does not fire all the way back when there is no ammunition inside of the gun. And that is simply because this is a pneumatic system where it actually uses air pressure that comes back out of there to push the bolt cover back. The dust cover on this rifle is fully functional. You grab the charging handle, you pull it back, flips open, exposes the hop up, stays open continually the whole time you're shooting it. For a polymer bodied gun, this gun is very solid. I'm impressed with its performance. It's great. The D-ring on it has a real heavy spring, so the handguard, there's no wobbles, no shakes of any kind. There's no gaps in the upper and lower receiver. They sit really tight, and all around that ABS receiver is really, really nice for an ABS receiver. If that's the type of thing you're into, this is a great option to look at. Extreme quality with that. Okay, well, this is a blowback rifle. It does not have a functioning bolt catch. The bolt catch is simply aesthetic. I'm sure you guys have seen that in other reviews or read about that. Buffer tube does not house the battery, and there is no sling mount on the end of the buffer tube, and that forces you to run like a regular 2-point sling or 3-point sling, however you want to run it. Running the single point over near the buffer tube's not an option unless you buy an additional plate. That's one of the few gripes I have with this, because almost every rifle I use I tend to mount up right there. Okay, on to the performance. The performance of the gun is great. I've had not one single jam the entire time using this, and so far I'm up to about 6,000 rounds on it total. I've been out shooting in the backyard, dialing it in, playing a couple of games with it. On semi-auto, I haven't had any issues with anything jamming. I have not had any double feeds. It's been really consistent. It's been a great performer. Nice and responsive on the LiPo batteries. I'm not running an 11.1 in this gun. I just felt it'd be too much. I didn't want to damage it at all. Even still, full auto, it's nice and fast. Great rounds per second. I'm not exactly sure where it's sitting with that, but it's definitely holding its own on the field. Now, typically I wouldn't buy a gun that has a polymer body, as I prefer the feel of a metal gun, but the polymer on this gun is absolutely unbelievable, top notch, and this is probably the best plastic airsoft body I have used to date. The things I don't like about this gun, as I mentioned before, is no sling mount on the end of the buffer tube, and I usually put that on every gun I run because that's where I prefer to be attached. I personally like to use a holographic sight and flip-up sights if I can. This gun, you cannot put a flip-up front sight on because the front sight is fixed to the barrel. It does not come off, it's not removable. And outside of that, she's a pretty solid performer. I mean, it's going to have its regular quirks that every gun of this caliber is going to have. I mean, the crane stock's got a little tiny bit of wiggle to it. And it's not bad. I've seen worse. There's been worse guns that I've had in my possession than that. The gearbox seems to be shimmed up decently from the factory. It's never been opened. Motor height was set decent. I barely even had to tweak that to get that sounding decent. And all in all, it's a very solid gun. Highly recommended. If you can find one for a good price like I did, I ended up finding this gun with 5 magazines and unfortunately a dead battery. The kid gave me the battery and it was toast. But I ended up picking up the gun for 110 bucks with the 5 magazines, and that's a really good deal on a solid performing gun. A great backup gun for somebody that has something really nice or something that they're real particular to, or a great entry-level gun to get you into the game, to give you something that you could grow with. Okay, the battery is housed in the foregrip on this gun. Just pull the D-ring back, slide it on out, and look at that, it's already jumping out at you. But there's the light poly battery that I'm running inside of it right now. It's got a small Tamiya connector. I'm about to rewire all this to Dean's tomorrow afternoon most likely, just so I can use it as a backup with my good stuff. These batteries right here are a great deal. I'm getting these well under $20 from TigerTacticalAirsoft.com. They have really fast shipping, great prices. I'd highly suggest checking them out. And I guess now I'm kind of winging this video, wasn't anticipating doing it, so I guess I'm going to give you guys a little shooting test, even though I said I wasn't going to myself. So I'm going to shut the camera off and get over there and set up something to shoot. Alright guys, since I'm shooting inside, I tried to rig up a little BB trap for myself real quick. I got this EOTech replica on here. I have not sighted it in yet. I just got it in trade last night and slapped it on here for the review. Don't know why, so I'm going to shoot with it right now with this to see what kind of grouping we get. This is at about 25 feet out. Alright, so as you can see, the grouping is pretty solid. Shooting a little down and left, so I'm going to try to correct that and give a couple of full auto bursts so you guys can see what this could do with .25 gram Elite Force BBs. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit. Alright, and there you go. There's a little bit of the performance test. Very tight grouping, stays together quite well, BBs fly straight. All in all, I'd give the gun an A+ for the price. I mean, there's other AEGs out there on the market that will outperform it, but for the price of what these are going for and what you could find them used, they're pretty much a good steal. I'd highly recommend them.